Welcome, welcome, and blessed be. Let's get rid of footwear. Welcome to my full moon reading for all of the star signs for March the 23rd, 2016. And this is an exciting time. It is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. There is a lot of energy around. We've just had the equinox. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it was the spring equinox or Ostara. So you're tipping forward now into the light. Oh, butterfly! Come back! And if you are in the southern hemisphere as I am, we are moving into the dark time of the year, and so we've just had the autumnal equinox, or as it's sometimes called in modern paganism, Marbon. Both times are very significant, and because of how closely it's playing out with this particular eclipse and this window of an eclipse, it's had a very interesting impact on everyone's energy. And of course, all of you are unique and beautiful and perfect, and the energy is going to play out a little differently for all of us. So please don't think that there's only one kind of way to work with this energy. But typically, I would say, when we have a lunar eclipse, that whatever has taken place at the preceding solar eclipse is going to now be integrated into your persona, into your exterior self. And whatever was uncovered and awakened, kind of whatever was woken up from a sort of slumber of the soul around about the 8th and 9th of March 2016, you're going to be experiencing that being integrated more fully into your identity. A kind of coming out took place to yourself, and now that sort of coming out is going to take place in a more public way. Now there are dragonflies near us. How beautiful. Now the deck that I wanted to read for us all today with was the Oracle of the Mermaids. I've literally just got out of the ocean. My hair's just sort of dried. I have no makeup on. I am covered in salt. I've still got my cozy on, and I just feel very refreshed and raw and real, and I didn't want to take away from that. And because of that sort of salty stripping back energy, I thought the mermaids would be really wonderful for us to work with. So let's commence. And as always, what I do is I shuffle. Whoops, they're very slippery today. Oh, hello. Well, look at that, because that card is going to be a kind of messenger for all of us, regardless of our particular star sign. Oh, the sun's coming out now. So I give them a shuffle. While I'm shuffling, I'm asking for a message for each of our star signs that's going to be helpful for us over the coming lunar cycle. So until this lasts from the 23rd to the next full moon. So it's some really strong guidance. And as I said, this has been a very significant time energetically. Woo. Then what I do is I divide the pack into 3 with my left hand. I put them back together, and now I'm just going to take them from the top, and each of the star signs will be recognized. So the first card is, of course, for Aries. Your card, Aries, is telepathy. So this card from the Oracle of the Mermaids is very much about your ability to discern other people's thoughts is going to be very, very strong, and you're also going to be able to influence people with your thoughts. Your thoughts are always powerful, no doubt, Aries, and you as a very very, very strong, very leader-like personality. Your thoughts are always strong. But this is the unspoken realm that we're really speaking of, and you are going to have a lot of influence just through how you think. So you'll be able to really change things up throughout this coming lunar cycle with the way that you think. With the way that you think. There's also one significant other person who you're possibly receiving almost energetic pulses from. You'll feel waves of energy, and you're going to be able to shield yourself if that is the right action to take. You'll know if it is. To shield yourself, simply allow the energy to ground. Don't put a mirror or anything like that up between the two of you, because that bounce back can really start some very unpleasant energetic interactions. So Aries, you are really super connected. You'll be reading minds. You'll be picking up on people's thoughts. Some of it's going to be pleasant and beautiful, and some of it is going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay. Use the skill wisely, and know that your non-verbal communication is very, very strong all throughout this lunar cycle. Gorgeous Ramster. So moving to Taurus. Beautiful Taurians, it's almost like you get very, very sensitive throughout this coming cycle, and you really feel very strongly about any kind of bullying or cruelty or power imbalances around you. And you're going to start to acknowledge that somebody has behaved towards you with a degree of arrogance and a degree of imbalance in their own personal power. They really have been somewhat condescending towards you, and they've also very much underestimated your energy and the way in which your skills and talents could be valued. So it's almost like someone has wanted to teach you and instruct you, and at the same time they haven't listened to your wisdom. So this card, which is number 33 in this deck, and it's called Experiment, and it refers to an earlier time in Atlantean history. But how it works throughout this coming lunar cycle is that you are going to encounter some people who may want to overpower you and who may want to feel superior to you. I would really recommend that you stand your ground and that you understand your inner wisdom. You do not have to fight, but you need to recognize and work very hard at recognizing your own contributions and your own power, and to know that there are always going to be people around who will assume a sort of sense of imposing their authority on you and almost taking credit for your work. At this time, it's very important that you take ownership of all you've done, and in subtle and powerful ways, take back your power. Do not hand it over to another person under any circumstances, beautiful Taurus. Okay, so we're moving now to Gem Stars or Geminis, to the beautiful twin souls out there. Wow, your card throughout this coming lunar cycle is called Freedom. And of course, it's not just about freedom. It's not a concept. It's about how do we live it. With this card, which is number 7 in the Oracle of the Mermaids deck, it's actually about someone who's had to carve out their own space. Someone who has really worked very hard to create a kind of independent work or life, or even a space within their home. Something that is really sacred and is their own. Now, there's also something to do with money with this card as well, a sense of there being quite a lot of abundance around you at this time. So it seems as well that other people could be quite attracted by this abundance that you've managed to generate, and they will be wanting to give you advice and perhaps seeking to go into partnership with you. The card would recommend that you keep your own counsel at this time, that the carved out space that is so hard won mustn't be handed over to another, even if they seem like a wonderful partner at this time. Be very, very strong in your position. Sit back, let others pitch to you if necessary, but do not go into partnership throughout this lunar cycle. This is a card of maintaining your independence and your strength, and of not needing to fight for that anymore. You're actually in a powerful position, more powerful than you actually feel you are. So I really want you to own that at the moment. I want you to understand that this is almost like the sunset of one period of your life, and as we're moving past this eclipse, you will begin to find that you are recognized more and more strongly by other people for what it is that you've achieved with your own startup, your own ideas, and the enormous amount of creativity that you've brought. Good for you, Gemini. Now, beautiful Cancerians, all the gorgeous moon children, your card is falling in love. So if any of you have felt that your relationships have suffered is too strong a word, but if your relationships have taken perhaps a little bit of a back seat, card number 20, falling in love, is saying to all the moon children, all the Cancerians out there, that throughout this coming lunar cycle, your relationship will begin to shift into the foreground and become a top priority, not just for you, but for the other person involved as well. There's an incredible sense of kinship and belonging and loving each other and absolutely holding on to each other. There's something very important about this card, and it's about the relationship that we're speaking of, and the falling in love that we're speaking of is also about falling in love with your inner self, because the divine within you is being acknowledged by the other person in this relationship. Now, simultaneously, you are observing, witnessing, and acknowledging the divine in the other soul. And because of that, the love becomes deeper, more intense, and in some ways it's almost like an ascension. It's like a rising up out of the mundane world's issues into a very elevated state of love for the forthcoming lunar cycle. I'm finding this very, very exciting and just so beautiful and so powerful. And to have this kind of love and this space in which to love is sublime. It's truly a sublime card and a sublime time for you, Moonchild. Beautiful Leos. I love Leos. They're so proud and sunny. And when I'm around Leos, sometimes they make me laugh because they're kind of like the showstoppers. I don't think they intend to be the showstoppers, but they're kind of like the showstoppers. It's like the party begins when the Leo arrives. They've got such big hearts. I do adore them. So, your card is number 10 in the Oracle of the Mermaids, and it is honor the masculine. Honor the masculine. Now, this doesn't mean just honor men, but it means to find a way into observing the masculine traits within yourself, and to get beyond the idea that masculine traits and honorable masculine traits, godlike traits, only belong to one gender. They are, of course, within women and within men, and it's a time to find some respect for the qualities within you that perhaps you've almost delegated only to one gender. For men and for women, this is a time to honor the masculine and find the beauty of the masculine traits within you, and to find that sense of the divinity within the God. So it could be a really wonderful time to express power, to speak up, Leo, to not take a back seat, to really say, here I am, this is what I'm capable of, and to really demonstrate that. It's also a very valuable time for self-expression and beautification of the masculine form. So if you are a man, I would be expecting that you could possibly be thinking about perhaps getting a tattoo or some kind of body decoration. And if you're a woman, you may find that the man in your life or men around you are also beginning to look at how they display, how they present themselves, and finding that they're a little more interested than usual in their appearance. So let's move to Virgo. Virgo. Now, this coming lunar cycle is governed by card number 4, the unseen. So this indicates, Virgo, that there are aspects to what you're working on at the moment that are unknown to you. And you're very, very tempted to stay within your comfort zone because of this. But I'd like to kind of tempt you out of your safe space and say, look, just come out a little further, a little further. Yes, a great deal is hidden from you and you really do need to work on gathering some more information. And I really want the information to be unbiased. Sometimes because of Virgo's very passionate nature, which doesn't get spoken about a great deal, they're very passionate people. All the Virgos I've encountered have a real sword-like clarity about them and an impatience in matters of the truth. But sometimes because they can be so passionate, they're drawn to people who present them with the kind of information that suits their own personal beliefs and biases. This time, throughout this lunar cycle, from this full moon to the next, Virgo, please, please get unbiased information. Oh, a little bird just flew next to me. I think that's confirmation for you, Virgo. Now moving on, of course, to Libra. You're called the balancer, and it's interesting because we've had this time of equilibrium, whether in the northern or southern hemisphere, with the equinoxes, equal night, equinox. And to me, Libras are so beautiful because they're always attempting to find this place of balance. And I know that word balance can be a little unfashionable sometimes. People tend to prefer a word that doesn't mean equal. But the balance is very important because it also means that whatever comes towards you at this time can't knock you over. Can't knock you over, Libra. Now the card that you have is number 3, which is about change and integration, but also receptivity. So Libra, you are being asked to receive a gift. You're going to be offered a very beautiful gift throughout this coming lunar cycle. You must reach out your hand and accept the gift, which seems to be quite small. It doesn't seem to be particularly impressive or amazing. Let me tell you, this tiny, exquisite gift has a great potential within it. It's very small, very subtle. So allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to have this sense of openness. Stop thinking in such a linear way and to work with a sense of it's okay for me to receive. When I allow others to give to me, I spread and create happiness. I really want you to contemplate that, and I really would like you to work with that because there is something coming towards you, and it's almost an intellectual gift, an ideas-oriented gift as well. It has a lot of power and a lot of potential for you. So we're going now to our gorgeous, gorgeous Scorps. Make sure I've got that. Oh, it is, it's right. Scorps. Beautiful Scorpios. Beautiful, mysterious, secretive, unknown Scorpios. Your card is number 26 in the Oracle of the Mermaids, and it is the card known as air. It is about taking a breath and finding a way to have a sense of connectivity to another, conversations, life-bringing energies. You'll find that you're very, very close, very intimate with another person at this time, and you'll be speaking of very, very emotional subjects, and you'll be sharing things with this person that maybe even you weren't aware of. There is a sense too that there are ideas and an intellectual component to the conversations, and it is as though you are perfectly matched. Perfectly matched. And somehow through these conversations and through their emotional quality and also their intellectual quality, they're almost perfectly balanced in terms of the air element and the water element. what's beginning to take place is a sense of being revived, being reawoken. So if you think of this card almost as if someone has been a little unconscious and someone is bringing them the kiss of life, air, sweet air, filling their lungs, their heart begins to beat again, their eyes flutter open, and they begin to really feel fully alive in a way that they haven't dared to for some time. So that's your card, Scorpio. It's a card of great intimacy as well, exchange. You have so much to offer, and someone is offering so much to you. Enjoy every moment. Very healing. So we're moving now to beautiful Sagittarius. My mum is a Sagittarius, by the way, and she is such an atypical Sagittarius. She's such a cheerful, amazing, strong woman, but oh, does she ever put her foot in her mouth sometimes? Sorry, Mum. But it's the truth. And I love all of you Sagittarius. You're the bright archers and you're so optimistic and always moving forward. I love that. Your card is number 35, which is the crane bag. And this is a time for you. Look, the crane bag is an incredible card that has within it a lot of energy that has to do with a very sacred, ancient Irish myth. Now, it's about love that lasts, love that endures, but we can't always hold on to the place and the time and the person. And so what we do is we create sacred memories, and the crane bag is the object into which we place the sacred memories. So what this card is encouraging you to do is to create a sacred place with sacred memories, mementos, little objects that may have an incredible sense of resonance and power, nostalgia, and not sentimentality but sentiment, strong emotional resonance within these objects. Gather those together and place them in either a special little treasure box or perhaps a purse, or you could even make a little pouch and carry one or two with you. It's really about the idea that these memories have such energy within them that even when the relationship is changing, and even when we are changing and we are transitioning, we have the ability not to hold on to the past, but to keep what was sacred about the past alive. It is eternal, it is immortal. And in time, you may want to pass on some of these memories and some of the stories attached to these nostalgic and beautiful items. At the same time, while you go through everything around you, you may find that some objects no longer have that emotional resonance, so it's time to let go of some of the objects around you, but some that you will rediscover will have a particular resonance for you and are worth holding on to, because they are almost going to become significant, not just to you, but to your family's story or to a wider community story. It's a really beautiful card. We're now going to Capricorn, and your card is number 31, which is Coral's Wisdom. And Coral's Wisdom to me is a card always of noticing just how sensitive you are, just how delicate you are. Just like coral, coral is extremely sensitive. It is endangered at the moment within the Great Barrier Reef in this country, Australia, because of global warming and climate change. Now, on a personal level, what does that mean? It means that you are just as sensitive to changes in conditions over the coming cycle as coral would be. And it also means that you need to do work to strengthen your nervous system at this time. So vitamin B, any kind of way to get your omega-3s and your omega-6s, the essential fatty acids that support your nervous system, and to do sacred movement, meditation, anything that brings you back to a position of strong core, because you are very sensitive throughout this coming lunar cycle. There is also the possibility of your skin being very, very sensitive and potentially